So most people don't ever think twice about how the animal products they are consuming are being produced. Most people don't even realize that the reason why dairy cows produce milk isn't because they're dairy cows. It's actually because they are mothers. That is why dairy cows produce milk. It's not an automatic thing. Dairy cows do not produce milk because they're dairy cows. Dairy cows produce milk because they are mothers. They are forcibly impregnated because they have to be pregnant before they will start lactating. And on these dairy farms, they have hundreds, a lot even have thousands of dairy cows. So yeah, to make the process more effective, more efficient, they use what they term artificial insemination to forcibly impregnate them, to get them to start lactating. And for them to be able to artificially inseminate those dairy cows, they have to have semen, of course. And how they get that semen is they have a few select bulls and they masturbate those bulls, or they will shove an electroejaculator in their anus until they ejaculate so that they can steal the semen and force it into each of those hundreds, if not thousands, of dairy cows to impregnate them. Because again, they have to be pregnant before they will start to lactate. When they give birth, their babies are stolen within hours. On some of the dairy farms, they will actually kill the male calves right away because they have absolutely no use for the male calves. But typically what they will do is they will sell the male calves off to the veal industry. That industry will raise them for a few weeks, maybe a few months, and then send them to slaughter. But even if those male calves are sold off to the beef industry, in the beef industry, the cattle are actually sent to slaughter at just like 12 months to 22 months of age. They can live over 20 years, but even cattle raised for beef are going to be slaughtered at just 1 year old when they can live over 20 years. But yeah, most of them are actually killed way before their first birthday. Like this little guy. This image behind me is a screenshot of an undercover investigation at a slaughterhouse where they are slaughtering the male calves taken off the dairy cows. If you Google Kinder World Calf Slaughter, this should be the first video that comes up. I dare you to watch it. I dare you to show your friends. I dare you to show your family members and ask them if they knew that this was happening to baby animals so that they can consume cheese, so that they can put cream in their coffee in the morning, so that they can put milk in their cereal. Ask them. Again, Kinder World Calf Slaughter, Google it. This should be the first video that comes up. It's just 2 minutes long. I dare you to watch just 5 seconds of it. It's horrific. I mean, you can just see by this little baby's face, this baby is traumatized. This is a newborn baby animal. This baby should be with his mother, not in a slaughterhouse about to be hacked to pieces so you can consume his stolen baby food. But this is standard practice throughout the entire dairy industry across the globe. And if you claim to be an animal lover, you have to go vegan, because if you're not vegan, you are in fact funding some of the most heinous acts of animal cruelty taking place. So how can you say you're against animal cruelty when you're actually funding it? And you don't have to be an animal lover to be vegan. You don't have to be an animal lover to understand that it is wrong to abuse an animal. So yeah, as long as you understand it's not okay to abuse someone, that it's not okay to chop someone's head off, that it's not okay to sexually violate someone, to impregnate them so you can steal their babies and eat those babies and consume the food that belongs to those babies. You need to go vegan, and you need to go vegan now. I mean, you need to take a stand. You need to take a stand for what is right. You need to stand up for these animals because they cannot stand up for themselves. They're literally being forced into slaughterhouses by the billions, each week. More animals are forced into slaughterhouses across the globe in 1 year alone than the total number of humans who have ever existed throughout all of time. So yeah, this is an atrocity like no other atrocity, and this atrocity is in fact destroying our planet, causing the 6th mass extinction. And animal agriculture is the leading cause of deforestation. It is the leading cause of species extinction. It is the leading cause of freshwater depletion, water pollution, ocean dead zones, ocean plastics, fisheries depletion, pandemics, world hunger, and climate change. And I'm not even exaggerating. Yeah, we're in the middle of a pandemic right now because why? Somebody had to go and eat an animal. If people follow God's dietary plan on the very first page of the Bible, Genesis 1:29, we would not be in the middle of a pandemic. And even if you think this pandemic was started in a lab, what about bird flu? That comes from the poultry industry, which is how they think the Spanish flu started, on a poultry farm in Kansas. What about swine flu? That comes from the pork industry. And again, animal agriculture is the main cause of so many of the problems that the world is facing right now. Every single second, thou shalt not kill. That is a commandment. That is a commandment, and there is no exceptions listed next to that commandment. No exceptions listed next to that commandment. Thou shalt not kill means be vegan. On the very first page of the Bible, look at what Genesis 1:29 states. God has given you plant-based foods to be meat for you to eat. Romans 14:21, it is good not to eat flesh. Isaiah 11:6-9, the wolf will lay with the lamb and there will be no more harm. We are not living in a time where there was a catastrophic flood that wiped out all the vegetation, and we are in survival mode. And we have to hunt and or fish for survival reasons. We are not in that situation. We have never lived in a time where we have access to so many plant-based food options, which are so much healthier for us, so much more environmentally sustainable, and no baby animals have to be stolen off of their mothers and slaughtered. And again, the very first step in producing animal products is that a farmer or a farm hand will masturbate a male animal to force him to ejaculate, to collect his semen, to force that semen into the vaginas of unconsenting female animals, to impregnate them, to get them to reproduce so that you can eat their babies, and so that, like in the dairy industry, so that you can consume their baby's stolen baby food. So yeah, look up what your Bible says about bestiality. Bestiality is a sin. Yeah, you need to go vegan, and you need to go vegan now. And again, animal agriculture is the leading cause of deforestation. Deforestation. Approximately 1 acre of land is being slashed and burned every second of every day. And it is mainly to graze and grow food for all of the ceaseless tens of billions of animals that are needed to keep up with the demand for animal flesh and animal secretions. And these crops need to be watered. So yeah, fresh water, most of it goes to the animal agriculture industry to water all of the crops needed to feed all of these ceaseless tens of billions of animals that need to eat day after day for 6 months in the case of pigs, for approximately 18 months in the case of cattle, even 6 weeks in the case of chickens. So yeah, fresh water dwindling down. In Arizona, they're running out of groundwater. There is a Saudi company that has leased a whole bunch of land in Arizona and is literally pumping the groundwater to water alfalfa. They are growing, this Saudi company is growing alfalfa in Arizona to ship to Saudi Arabia to feed their dairy cows. So, to ship to Saudi Arabia to feed their dairy cows. Because it's illegal to grow alfalfa in Saudi Arabia. No, that's a true story. Look into it if you think I'm lying. Well, you know, you're supposed to be a civilized human being. You're supposed to be a civilized human being, but you want to base your behavior off of a wild animal? That's craziness. No, thou shalt not kill is a commandment. That is a commandment. And there's no exception listed next to it. So you absolutely, according to God, need to be vegan. And for you to say that God put animals here for us to eat, again, that is blasphemous, because for all of those animal products that you're consuming all day long to end up on your store shelf, farmers are literally masturbating male animals, forcing them to ejaculate, shoving semen into the vaginas of unconsenting female animals to impregnate them, even masturbating them. Like recently I came across a pig farmer in Great Britain who made a video, a YouTube video, demonstrating how he artificially inseminates his sows. And he uses his fist and he rubs their vaginas to sexually stimulate them before he shoves the semen into them to impregnate them. This is all bestiality. This whole disgusting industry is based on bestiality, is based on baby stealing and baby killing. Yeah, God isn't real. Yeah, I don't believe in God. But like I said, most people throw that at me every day, all day long. But God put animals here for us to eat. You know, so what I do is I just point out passages in the Bible that, you know, prove otherwise if they want to believe in the Bible. Good is real, though. Good does exist. Evil does exist, unfortunately. And I'm against evil. That is why I am vegan. Yeah, Saudi Arabia. I can't say it without the double A. I don't know why I do that, but I do. Saudi Arabia. It just got to say it slower. No, I don't eat almonds. Actually, I do not eat almonds. I grow my own avocados. Yeah, I don't kill any bees for that. But yeah, if you're concerned about the bees, yeah, you need to go vegan. Because guess what? Most of the animals whose flesh and secretions, or just about probably all of the animals whose flesh and secretions you consume, are fed genetically modified corn and or genetically modified soy. Those crops are genetically modified so that they can be sprayed with Roundup. So all of the other things growing around those crops dies, which means like the weeds that produce flowers that are a food source for the bees and the butterflies. So they are being killed off because of GMOs. And the GMOs are toxic to them too. The GMOs themselves are toxic to the bees and butterflies. But yeah, what Roundup does is kills off all of the weeds all around those crops. And the only thing that remains alive is the corn, is the soybean crop that is produced to feed livestock. And all of the weeds that produce flowers, even if they look insignificant, You know, that's a food source for the bees and the butterflies that is literally being destroyed. Like endless acres of land that would normally provide nectar for the butterflies and bees, destroyed over GMO crop production, which is, like I said, mostly fed to livestock. I do not consume any genetically modified foods. Yeah, that's creepy. That you do it yourself. Like, oh, I'll just do it myself. Like, I mean, that's creepy. You know, because vegans are evil. Vegans are so evil because you don't kill. You don't chop the heads off of innocent creatures. You're so evil. You're so twisted. Yeah, imagine vegans are evil because we don't chop the heads of animals off like every few hours of every day. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Stay mad. Stay jealous. Plants feel pain. That's an argument for veganism, not against it. Plants feel pain? Yeah, if you're concerned about that, you absolutely need to go vegan. Because a hell of a lot more plants are being killed to fatten livestock so you can eat their flesh and secretions. And animal agriculture is the leading cause of deforestation. So yeah, think about what that means for plants as an acre of land is being slashed and burned per second. And it is mainly to graze and grow food for livestock. Yeah, bacon is amazing at causing cancer. Keep that in mind when you or a loved one ends up with cancer. Just remember how amazing bacon is. And again, if you think it's okay to slaughter animals for food, you should have to work in a slaughterhouse slaughtering those animals yourself, at the very least. At the very least. You know, if you think it's okay to consume dairy products, you should have to work in this slaughterhouse killing these little baby male calves yourself if you think it's okay to consume their stolen baby food. Yeah, secretions, the things that come out of their orifices. Secretions that they secrete. The dairy cows secrete milk when they're pregnant, when they're about to give birth, and after they've given birth to feed their babies. And a lot of them have infected udders. So you're literally consuming the things that come out of a cow's infected udder. Yeah, that's just creepy because people who harm animals rarely stop there. You know, one of like the real life Hannibal Lecters, you know, was a woman in Australia. Catherine Knight, look her up. She was a slaughterhouse worker. It was her dream job growing up to be a slaughterhouse worker. So she became a slaughterhouse worker, killing animals all day long. Got off doing that. And then she turned to people. Wow, surprising. And she even killed her own boyfriend. Skinned him, butchered him, cooked him, and plated him for his children to eat. But luckily they were out of town that day, so they did not come around for dinner. Yeah, that's just creepy. Again, people who harm animals rarely stop there. It's a true story. I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer started out, you know, killing and dismembering animals and being fascinated by it. And then he moved on to people. You do realize there's literally tens of thousands of edible species of plants. So yeah, there were people who consumed plant-based diets 200 years ago, even 2,000 years ago. Yeah, Socrates, Pythagoras, Plato, Plutarch, all abstained from eating animals. And again, look on the very first page of the Bible. So yeah, veganism is not a new concept. Yeah, it's actually been around for ages. On the very first page of the Bible, in fact. Of course, my lipstick is vegan. There's many brands of makeup that supply vegan makeup that does not contain any animal products, any byproducts, and are not tested on animals. Wouldn't our ecosystem fail if we all ate a plant-based diet or plant-based things? Actually, no. What the research shows from Oxford University, just look up Joseph Poor's study, Poore, Joseph Poore. He and other researchers at Oxford University did an extensive study of over 40,000 farms and concluded that animal agriculture is so environmentally destructive, going vegan is the best way to save the planet, and that if the world went vegan, land totaling the size of Africa could be freed up. Because let me show you these numbers, and maybe this will give you a better understanding. This right here is the number of animals being slaughtered every single minute. This is just 1 minute alone. And this is the number of animals slaughtered every single minute of every single day around the globe. So yeah, just imagine how much food needs to be produced to feed cattle to slaughter them at this rate per minute. How much land it takes to grow the crops needed to feed pigs to kill them at this rate per minute. Like, to kill animals at this, to slaughter them at this rate per minute, yeah, there's like billions of animals, literally tens of billions of animals right at this very moment being raised for their flesh and secretions. These animals all have to eat, and cattle are raised for about 12 to 22 months before they're slaughtered. And they eat a lot of food. And most cattle raised for beef are actually on feedlots being fed grains for 12 to 22 months. So they're eating a lot of food, drinking a lot of water, producing a lot of excrement. Animal agriculture is the most environmentally destructive industry that has ever existed by far. Animal agriculture is the most environmentally destructive industry by far. It is the leading cause of deforestation. An acre of land is slashed and burned per second, and it is mainly to graze cattle and to grow food for all of these ceaseless tens of billions of animals that are needed to keep up with the demand for animal flesh and animal secretions. It takes a lot of land to feed all of these animals. See, these animals, like, oh, you're like, oh, well, maybe if they, gave them some more room, if they treated them better. There's no way they can let tens of billions of animals have a pasture to live in. That's why most animals are confined in these industrial sheds by the thousands, because land is a very costly thing. So yeah, they're confined in these sheds where they can barely move. And they're also confined like that too, because that way they don't get as much exercise. So then that helps put them, put on weight, because the more those animals weigh at slaughter, the more the farmers make. So yeah, when they put them in those industrial sheds, they're saving money. And besides, there wouldn't be enough land again. There would not be enough land to let all of these animals, to kill them at this rate per minute, roam free. So they're confined in these industrial sheds, like the pigs and the chickens and the turkeys. And they're also confined like that too, so they get less exercise, so that they gain weight a lot quicker. And that's another reason why they're given antibiotics. I mean, they're given antibiotics because of the filth they're forced to live in, But also the antibiotics kills off their good gut bacteria, and that promotes weight gain. And then when you eat their flesh, you're giving yourself a low dose of antibiotics, which kills off your good gut bacteria, causing weight gain, causing digestive issues, causing issues absorbing nutrients. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Absolutely true. I have no reason to lie whatsoever. Just look into it. Yeah, don't take my word for it, but don't just say, because you don't want to believe I'm telling the truth, don't just say not true. No, look into this. You know, right there in your hand, you have a device where you could easily look this up and find so much information backing up what I'm telling you. Well, if you're a vet tech, you should be vegan. I mean, that's kind of creepy if you're not. That's kind of creepy if you're not vegan. You're a vet tech, but you eat animals? You like eat your patients? I mean, that's creepy. That is creepy. And again, if you think it's okay to eat animals, why don't you go work at a slaughterhouse killing those animals yourself? Yeah, slaughterhouses do not exist. Slaughterhouses do not exist to make cell phones. I hate to break it to you. They never did exist for that reason, and they never would exist for that reason. Yeah, look up carrot farming. Yeah, you know, the LCD screens? Yeah, look up carrot farming. Yeah, thank a carrot farmer. Carrots. Yeah, look it up and see what I'm talking about. Carrots. Thank Carrot Farmer for your LCD screen. Now get over yourself. Get over yourself. No one deserves a death sentence for your food preferences. I mean, my God, like that's another thing that's so ridiculous for people to be like, oh, vegans think they're so much better. Well, of course we are. Okay. Yeah. Just like people who don't abuse children are, yeah, they are better than people who do abuse children. People who don't abuse animals are better than people who do abuse animals. And yes, you are abusing animals. When you pay somebody to chop an animal's head off, you know, you're an animal abuser. If you pay the hitman, you are the murderer. So that's just a fact. So I don't know why you take issue with that. But the whole point of me being vegan isn't so I can sit here and say, oh, I'm better than you because I don't pay people to chop the heads of animals off for my food preferences. That's not the whole, that is not the reason why I'm vegan at all. That is not the reason why I went vegan. I went vegan because I don't think an animal deserves to suffer and or die for my food preferences. I'm not that arrogant. I'm not that selfish to think that an innocent creature should have to receive a death sentence for my food preferences. So yeah, if you want to talk about people being selfish and arrogant and into themselves, you're so into yourself, you think an innocent animal should be decapitated just so you could sit down for 10 minutes and eat a meal that could very easily be substituted with something plant-based that's so much healthier, so much more environmentally sustainable, just as tasty, if not tastier. But no, you'd rather just ignore us vegans and what we're trying to get through to you. I want you to go vegan and be a better vegan than me. Be a better vegan activist than me. So this isn't like a competition. I don't give a fuck, you know? I'm not here to say, oh, I'm better than you because I'm vegan. But, it is true that people who don't abuse animals are better than people who do. Just like people who don't abuse children are better than people who do abuse children. I'm just saying, hey, look, we don't have to do these awful things to these animals So why are you doing these awful things to these animals? And you're like, oh, meat is so tasty. Well, vegan food is delicious too, and it's much healthier. And it's much more environmentally sustainable. And yeah, why is that slaughtered gore so tasty in the first place? Yeah, it would not be so tasty if it wasn't for all the added spices that you put on it, that you flavor it with. Herbs and spices are vegan, in case you don't know. So yeah, see how tasty that slaughtered gore is when there's no added salt, no added pepper, no added anything to it. You just eat it as is. It's not going to be nearly as tasty. That's why every chef in the world literally, douses that slaughtered gore with all kinds of herbs and spices and marinades. I've never once seen like a chef make something and just like take a hunk of a dead animal and just eat it. Plants are living. Yeah, well, that's an argument for veganism. I never was off this app for what, over 2 years now? I've been on this app for over 2 years now. Yeah, I don't hurt bugs either. Like, I would not even do to a cockroach what you people do to these cows and pigs and chickens and fish. I would not even do that to a cockroach. I mean, when I see a cockroach, I just put them in a little empty spice jar and take them outside. I would not even send a cockroach to a slaughterhouse. I mean, it's just mind-blowing. I mean, here it is, the 21st century. People should know by now that you don't have to eat animals to be healthy. And all the studies, there's study after study after study shows that a plant-based diet is the best diet for human health, can even significantly reduce your risk of heart disease and cancer and diabetes and kidney disease. Yeah, well, that's like I said, you're coming on here saying you're a vet tech, but you're not vegan? You're not vegan? That's creepy. Yeah, well, I live in Florida. Yeah, so yeah. Maybe you don't know because you don't live in Florida. But yeah. And I've even been in $10 million homes. And there's cockroaches in them. Genesis 9:3. Genesis 9:3. Everything that moveth shall be food for you. Well, animals are not things, okay? And in case you don't know, humans are animals, okay? And it's funny you completely ignore the commandment, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal. It's bizarre that, nothing that really speaks of protecting life resonates with you. Only if it's what, like a clump of cells, then, suddenly, you care. But you don't even care about the children who are here, who are alive and breathing and conscious and sentient. You care about a clump of cells that aren't sentient. Yeah, because there are 1 billion people right now starving. 1 billion people, including children, starving because food they could eat is being used to fatten up all of these animals, or most of these animals, so that privileged people can eat meat and dairy products. Third world countries do sell their grains to the animal agriculture industry while their own people starve. No, no insects have to be killed in crop production. No insects have to be killed in crop production. I do not consume foods that are sprayed with chemicals, and I certainly do not consume GMOs. There are non-lethal methods of pest control, but obviously, you're not aware of that because you're not vegan, because you don't care about killing animals. So you don't know that there are non-lethal methods of pest control. You don't know that there are actually veganic farmers. You don't know that there are actually organic farmers who use non-lethal methods of pest control because you're not vegan. You kill animals all day, every day for your food preferences. You have the heads of cows and chickens and fish hacked off all day long. So you don't give a fuck if insects are killed in crop production. But I do. So yeah. I'm aware that there are veganic farmers. 1 Degree is a company that sources all of its ingredients from veganic farmers. The local organic farm where I get a lot of my produce from uses pepper spray as a non-lethal method of pest control. They can't eat the plants. The plants are taken and given to livestock that are then shipped to first world countries so privileged people can eat meat and dairy products. The government is more concerned about money than it is about their own people. Now, there's no proof that my phone was made with any animal byproducts. No proof whatsoever. Somebody said, oh yeah, I can prove it to you. And then they show me this little clip that says, may contain. May contain. No, it doesn't contain. Never said anything on the packaging when I bought the phone. No. No proof. Nobody's ever provided me any proof whatsoever that my cell phone contains animal byproducts. But again, even if it does, slaughterhouses do not exist to make cell phones. That's just ridiculous. The reason why those animals are being slaughtered is because you want to eat their flesh. Not because I got a phone 5 years ago. See, what happens in those slaughterhouses, there's all this waste. Or on these factory farms, when those animals die, they often get sent to rendering plants. The slaughterhouse gore, the waste, the waste at the slaughterhouses gets sent to rendering plants that repurpose those things. And, companies figured out how to use them. But it's not a requirement, like car tires, for instance. A lot of car tires are made with animal byproducts. But Michelin tires do not contain animal byproducts because it's not necessary. It is not necessary to use animal byproducts to make car tires. And actually, I think, the Michelin tires, I've had Pirelli, I had Continental, I had Goodyear tires. I actually think the Michelin tires are a better tire. They seem to grip the road a lot better. Maybe that's because they don't contain any animal byproducts. Animal fat, yeah. So I'm sticking with the Michelin tires. Well, you should try to stick to as close to a whole foods plant-based diet as possible, filled with fruits and vegetables. Beans, grains, legumes, nuts, seeds. So I'm sure there's already a lot of plant-based foods that you already like. Like, what fruits do you like? I never even growing up liked vegetables. I used to say that my favorite vegetable was corn. And corn's not even a vegetable, it's a grain, because I hated vegetables. But now, knowing how to cook them, like roasting like cauliflower, green beans, I can actually snack on those things. They're so good. Yeah, my lipstick is absolutely vegan and not tested on animals. Another good thing you can do to get you started is just right here on TikTok, do a search for vegan recipes. And you will come across endless vegan recipes right here on TikTok. So scroll through some of them. If something looks good to you, click on it, see who posted it, give them a follow. And you'll see that going vegan is so easy. There's so many delicious vegan recipes. A lot of them are just so easy and quick to make. And just about anything and everything can be veganized. Even bacon. They even sell it in the stores. Vegan bacon. Lifelight has this smoky, smoky tempeh bacon. It's delicious. It's not like a crispy bacon. It's kind of like a meaty bacon. That's really good on sandwiches. One serving has like 12 grams of protein. It's really good. And you can buy, it used to be like, I think $4, but now, you know, everything's going up. I think it was like the last time I bought it was like $7 and something. But you can make your own, like I said, right here on TikTok. If you do a search for vegan recipes, like put the word vegan, whatever you like. If you like bacon, put vegan bacon recipes. You'll come up with all kinds of ways to make your own vegan bacon right here on TikTok. And if you go to happycow.net, if you put in your city, you will find vegan and vegan-friendly restaurants. So check out some of those places. No, I've had Firestone. I like the Michelin best. Yeah, most of these health conditions are caused by people eating animals in the first place. No, that's not necessary. So you're saying, oh, well, there's animal byproducts in glue. Well, it's not a requirement. It's not necessary. There is glue that is made without animal byproducts. It is not a requirement. Slaughterhouses do not exist to make glue. No, you're pretty unhinged. You're the one who's unhinged. I'm literally here just stating facts. Okay? And you're saying I'm unhinged because I'm literally just stating facts? I mean, that's just creepy that you have an issue with someone using this platform to educate consumers about the fact that they don't have to eat animals to be healthy. I mean, that's the main reason why I come on this app every day, is to make a point to people that you do not have to eat animals to be healthy. Because I grew up thinking it was just a given. Because I wasn't given the option to be vegan growing up. I never even heard the word vegan growing up. I don't think I heard the word vegan until I was in like my late 20s, actually. Even though the word vegan was coined back in 1944, and the concept of veganism has been around for ages, right there on the very first page of the Bible, Genesis 1:29, thou shalt not kill. Romans 14:21, it is good not to eat meat. Isaiah 11:6-9, the wolf will lay with the lamb and there will be no more harm. So you're pretty unhinged to think that I'm unhinged just because I'm literally, trying to educate people about the fact that they don't have to consume animal products to be healthy, and that, in fact, a whole foods plant-based diet is the best diet for human health and the best diet for the planet. Not my lipstick. Not my lipstick. I literally have 3 different kinds of lipsticks, and they're all vegan and not tested on animals. This is 100% pure. It's 100% vegan and not tested on animals. Gabriel Organics, 100% vegan, 100% not tested on animals. Bare Minerals, Bare Minerals, 100% vegan, 100% not tested on animals. Well, the first thing they need to do is make it illegal for farmers to artificially inseminate animals. They need to make it illegal for farmers to collect semen from male animals because it is sexual assault. That so-called artificial insemination process. So that, I would think, any decent rational person would agree needs to come to an end, like right now. That's the first step in getting this industry shut down, is they should ban the artificial insemination process. Make it so that farmers can no longer masturbate male animals to collect their semen. Make it illegal for farmers to force semen into the vaginas of unconsenting female animals. That's illegal. That stops. Then that's it. Then the animals right now, it'd be nice to find them all animal sanctuaries to live the rest of their lives out in. Maybe even turn some of these farms themselves into an animal sanctuary. I mean, there are cattle ranchers literally turning their cattle ranches into animal sanctuaries. There are farmers already doing that. But yeah, see, the vegan thing would not happen overnight. It would be nice if it did, but yeah, it wouldn't happen overnight. But I would say, like right now, they should absolutely ban the artificial insemination process. That whole thing of them collecting semen from the male animals and artificially inseminating the female animals, that should end right now. And then, at such a point, maybe 3 months down the line, 6 months, a year at the most down the line, there should be a date set, because that's what usually happens, is there's a date that they set when, hey, after this date, you can no longer slaughter animals. It becomes illegal after this date. So whatever date that would be, I would, like it to be right now, but okay, realistically, that's not going to happen. But it should happen within the next year, because this is literally not just insanely evil what they're doing to these animals. This is very environmentally damaging, what's happening to this planet because of this industry. Animal agriculture is literally causing the 6th mass extinction. And let me show you this from Oxford University. Again, researchers at Oxford. Well, that's not it. Let me find. It's hard to see because it's so small. It's right here. Okay, from Oxford University Press. We face 3 epoch-defining environmental problems: climate, extinction, and pestilence. Our climate is changing in ways that will have serious consequences for humans, and it may even profoundly affect the ability of the planet to support life. All around us, other species are disappearing at a rate between several hundred and several thousand times the normal background rate of extinction. The COVID virus, which has wreaked social and economic havoc, is merely the latest model of a blossoming production line of newly emerging infectious diseases, many of which have the potential to be far worse. At the heart of these problems lies an ancient habit: eating animals. This habit is the most significant driver of species extinction and of newly emerging infectious diseases, and one of the most important drivers of climate change. This is a habit we can no longer afford to indulge. So yeah, causing all of this harm to animals. And this is just some of the harm. For products we don't even need to consume, for products that literally increase the risk of heart disease and cancer and diabetes, and the products being produced literally causing the sixth mass extinction. It takes a lot of resources to produce animal products. Those animal products do not automatically appear on store shelves. There's a whole process involved that involves a lot of crops needing to be produced, watered, shipped. These animals being raised for months, 6 months in the case of pigs, cattle raised for 12 to 22 months. And these animals have to be fed day after day after day, have to be given water day after day after day. They produce a lot of waste. Yeah, Bare Minerals, the lipstick is what I use, and the lipstick is vegan and not tested on animals. I'm not sure about all the other products. I'm pretty sure they're all not tested on animals. I'm not sure if all the other products are vegan, but I only use the lipstick by Bare Minerals. And the lipstick I use is absolutely vegan and not tested on animals. No, I want farmers to keep their hands off the private parts of the animals. Stop forcing them to reproduce. Send as many of those animals to animal sanctuaries. Yeah, I am convincing people to go vegan. Maybe I'm not convincing you. You cannot speak for everybody. I mean, how big-headed do you have to be to think you can speak for everybody? Yeah, you're just mad. You're just mad because you know I am getting a lot of people to go vegan, and I'm getting tons of people to consider going vegan. And that's driving all you people crazy, especially you people who are actually in the industry. I said I'm pretty certain that Bare Minerals is cruelty free, like all of their products. I did also say I don't know if all their products are vegan though. But I do know the lipstick, especially the lipstick I have on, is absolutely vegan and not tested on animals. Yeah, I am getting people. Again, you cannot speak for everyone. That's crazy for you to say, no one is going vegan because of you. You cannot speak for everyone. Just because I'm not your cup of tea. And even people, I guarantee there are people who think, yeah, I might seem rude or, you know, crazy or whatever. But they are actually listening to the message and maybe not listening or paying much attention to the way I come off giving that message. They're actually listening to the message that yes, animal products are derived from extreme animal cruelty, and they get that part of it, and that's enough to make them reconsider their food preferences and their clothing preferences and everything else, you know, entertainment preferences. I mean, visit a sanctuary, not a zoo. Cars don't come from slaughterhouses, so I don't know what your point is. Animals are not being killed to make cars. Animals aren't being confined in overcrowded, shit-filled sheds for months to make a car. I don't know what you're getting at. Do I drive a car? Yeah, I do. but I've always had jobs very close to my home. Like my job is only like 3 miles away. My car is a 2007. Got it years before I went vegan. And it only has 70,000 miles on it. And it's a 2007. And it only has 70,000 miles on it because I've always worked very close to home. Yeah, I mean, I understand there are animal abusers in the world, unfortunately. So yeah, I understand I'm not going to be able to get everybody to go vegan because, you know, there are a lot, unfortunately, surprisingly, a lot of animal abusers in this world. I mean, I sign petitions every single day, multiple petitions every single day against people who abuse cats and dogs and wild animals. Yeah, so I understand that there are people who just don't give a fuck about these animals. Oh, I'll chop that pig's head off myself. I don't care. But most people would not want to work in a slaughterhouse. So yeah, if you understand, like, yeah, working in a slaughterhouse would be a pretty horrific thing. For those of us who are compassionate, decent people. Yeah, you need to go vegan because you're literally employing other people to do this job that you yourself would never want to ever do. And you're paying somebody else to do that job for you, to kill animals all day long. And again, like I said, some of these people literally get off on it. You know, they specifically work in a slaughterhouse because, hey, they get to literally abuse and hack the heads of animals off all day long and get paid for it. You know, they get to be a real-life Jason, a real-life Freddy Krueger to the animals. And get paid for it. You know, because some of these people, you know, they idolize these monsters in these horror movies. And that's a way for them to be a real-life monster. To work in a slaughterhouse, killing animals. But some of these people working in these slaughterhouses, they don't want to do that job. They're kind of forced into it. I mean, if you don't think that human trafficking is happening in the slaughterhouse industry, you know, not just in the animal agriculture industry itself, definitely in the fishing industry, you should look into that. I should do a TikTok video on that. The human trafficking happening in the seafood industry. But yeah, if you don't think human trafficking is happening in the slaughterhouse industry, whew, you're way, way off. Yeah, a lot of people working in those slaughterhouses pretty much forced to do that kind of work. Other people who, you know, the pay might be better than, you know, working at Walmart or Publix. So maybe they don't have a college degree or something, and the only kind of job they could get is something basic, and, you know, a slaughterhouse might pay a few dollars more or even twice as much as a job working at a Walmart or a Publix or something like that. So they do it just for the money, not because they really want to work in a slaughterhouse slaughtering animals all day long. But yeah, these people literally would have to, any person that's actually a decent, compassionate person working in a slaughterhouse, they literally have to just shut down their whole mind when they go into those places. A lot of these people are actually, you know, self-medicating just to be able to get through that kind of work that they have to do day after day after day. So yeah, if you understand, like, hey, fuck no, I would never work in a slaughterhouse, but you're not vegan? I mean, that right there says it's fucking wrong what you're doing. It's absolutely wrong to eat animals. If you would not want to work in a slaughterhouse because you understand that there's some pretty horrific shit happening in those slaughterhouses and you never want to step foot into a slaughterhouse, then you know what you're doing is wrong. You know eating animals is wrong. Like, if you don't, most people wouldn't want me to put up slaughterhouse. Well, I couldn't because my live stream would be taken down. But yeah, just think of all the people that, you know, oh my God, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. If I were to show you those animals being slaughtered for your bacon, if I was to show you those animals being slaughtered for your hamburger, Most people would be like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. That's traumatizing to me. But these animals literally live that. So right there, you're just proving my point that it is absolutely wrong to eat animals. Because these animals are all being slaughtered. And most of you don't even want to see slaughterhouse footage because you'd be traumatized by it. Especially children. You know, people will be like, oh, don't show that kind of thing to a child. Oh my God, they'll be having nightmares. They'll be sleeping with their parents every night for the rest of their lives. If you show a 10-year-old slaughterhouse footage, I mean, right there, that should tell you this should not be happening. You should not be paying people to slaughter animals so you can have a fucking burger. No, you're a hypocrite. Unless, you know, like I said, you are pro-animal abuse. You love seeing animals being killed and hacked to pieces. But then you're a psychopath. You might not be a hypocrite, but you're a psychopath if you like to see animals being tortured and killed and hacked to pieces. But that's what's happening all day long for every single non-vegan product you consume. That's just reality. So, you know, stop denying that I'm right, because I'm right. You're wrong for what you're doing to these animals. I'm not doing anything for views, but yeah, it's good for me to get a lot of views because then the message gets out to more people. And then that means there's a lot more people that, you know, potentially might go vegan. If like right now I had 50,000 people watching my live stream, yeah, that would be totally amazing. And I don't give a fuck for myself. I'm just like 50,000 people. Think of how many of those 50,000 people are now going to think about going vegan, who are now going to start maybe looking into, like, do they really grind up male chicks alive in the egg industry? Because I don't think that's true. That can't be true. But then they might look into it and then be, damn, they do. And they're doing this all around the freaking world in the egg industry, grinding up the male chicks alive because they're useless to the egg industry. Because they can't determine the sex of the chicks until they hatch. So upon hatching, they sort the males and they kill them because they have no use for them. You don't have to feed your family animal body parts. Your family would be much better off eating a plant-based diet. That would significantly reduce the risk of heart disease. That would significantly reduce the risk of getting cancer. It would help prevent future pandemics like bird flu, swine flu, mad cow disease. Yeah, baby animal body parts. Yeah, because most of these animals are babies. Pigs are slaughtered at just 6 months old when they can actually live over 10 years. Chickens are just 6 weeks old when they're slaughtered. They can live over 7 years. Even cattle raised for beef are only about 12 to 22 months old when they're slaughtered. They can live over 20 years. So yeah, even cattle are only 1 year old when they're slaughtered. Don't even get me started on Trump. Don't even get me started on Trump. Oh, you mean that thing that, got the regulations removed so that his trophy hunting sons can bring body parts of elephants into the United States? Yeah, no. He should have never been president in the first place. Somebody, that should have not have happened. I mean, that's a complete conflict of interest. It's clear that Donald Trump doesn't have the best interest of us. He doesn't. He's a businessman. He doesn't care about us at all. So that's just crazy to have somebody like that with that kind of power, with the ties that he has to all of these different industries, that, he's a special interest individual that should not have been able to run for president because it's a conflict of interest. to have somebody like that running our country. And anyway, Hillary had 3 million more votes than he did. I mean, the popular vote, that should be it. That should determine who's president. I mean, that's the only way to make it fair, where every citizen's vote holds equal weight. But it doesn't. It doesn't. It's not fair. Hillary should have been the president. So Donald Trump, for one thing, should have never been able to run for president. But they should be going by the popular vote, and he lost by 3 million votes. Not 3,000, not 300,000, 3 million votes. So he didn't even win. He didn't even truly win the first, or I should say maybe honestly might be a better word, honestly won the first time around. And then a year before the re-election, he was even saying, if I don't get re-elected, the voting system is rigged. I mean, right there, literally saying the voting system's going to be rigged. You know it's going to be rigged if I don't win. So, yeah, I have to win, because if I don't win, then it's rigged. And then he didn't win, and oh, look, it was rigged. Yeah, right, okay. No, he actually tried to rig it, but he was so bad, I mean, he didn't even win anyway. But yeah, let's not forget, Trump is the one. So any of you people who claim to be animal lovers, claim to be nature lovers, claim to love elephants and lions, and, you know, I don't forget, Trump is the one who removed the regulations, deregulated the trophy, bringing trophies into the United States of wild animals from other countries. People can now bring polar bear body parts into the United States. And that used to be illegal. Yeah, do you think an embryo gives a shit? Do you think an embryo gives a shit about anything or anyone? It doesn't even give a shit about itself. But yeah, animals do. They do care about their own well-being. That's why a lot of animals, you know, when they sense danger, they'll run and try to protect themselves. No, you in your seafood is killing the whales. Yeah, you're eating seafood. Yeah, you're responsible for the whales being killed. Yeah, fraud on Trump's part. Fraud on Trump's part. And he still couldn't win. Even though he rigged it, he still, and that's what like really made him go crazy. You kill trees? No, actually, I don't kill trees. What tree has to be killed? That doesn't even make sense. Actually, they're clearing out. They're slashing and burning an acre of land per second, and it's mainly to graze and grow food for livestock. You're the one causing deforestation. In fact, researchers at Oxford University said that if the world went vegan, land totaling the size of Africa could be rewilded, would be freed up and could be rewilded if the world went vegan. Because it takes a lot of land to grow the crops and to graze all the cattle that are needed to keep up with animal flesh and animal secretions. Like over 80% of the soybean crop produced is produced to feed livestock. Now, I do not drink almond milk. I usually go alternate between like flax milk and soy milk. Organic flax milk, organic soy milk. It doesn't matter how well those animals are treated. Most animals raised for their flesh and secretions are not treated well, okay? But for the 1 or 2% of animals that might actually be treated well, the better they are treated, the more they want to live. And the greater the betrayal it is when you send them off to a slaughterhouse. And they're all sent off to a slaughterhouse. Even the dairy cows are sent to slaughter when they can no longer produce enough milk to be profitable. Even the egg-laying hens are sent to slaughter when they can no longer produce enough eggs to be profitable. This all happens at a fraction of their natural lifespan. So yeah, even if they are treated well and given a nice pasture to play in all day, every day, the better those animals are treated, the more they want to live. But they are all slaughtered as babies, pretty much. Except dairy cows, they're slaughtered around 5 years of age. I did come across one dairy farmer here on TikTok. He was so proud of himself because he said that he does not send his dairy cows to slaughter until they are 10 years old. So he said his dairy cows are about 10 years old when he sends them to slaughter. Again, those dairy cows can live over 20 years. He sends them to slaughter at half their natural lifespan because they can no longer make him enough money. So that's how he repays them. Not send them to a sanctuary. He sends them to a slaughterhouse. And yeah, it's really disturbing. Like, I keep coming across, well, I guess because, I did a TikTok of, well, actually I did a few of them. But yeah, I keep coming across all of these, kids in these FFA programs and 4-H programs, like their goodbye TikToks that they do. And then I see all the comments in the comment section. Oh, I got 2 more weeks with my lamb. And, it's going to be, I'm already a mess. And then other people, well, this is the first pig I became attached to. And, but he's going to be delicious. He's going to be delicious. It's like, oh my God. Like the FFA and the 4-H, what they're doing is literally psychologically manipulating and abusing these children. That is not normal. To teach a child to like gain the trust of an animal and then, make this animal think that they're friends and then send them off to a slaughterhouse. And then be like, they're going to be yummy though. That is like, what the fuck is the animal agriculture industry doing to these animals, to these children's minds, where they actually think it's funny now? Like, they'll actually, 1 minute they're crying about it. 1 minute they're literally crying about the fact that they have to send this animal that they raised for months to a slaughterhouse. 1 minute they're crying, but the next minute they're like laughing about it. So, he's going to be delicious. They're literally messing with the minds of these children. Like, to where these children just, like, they're saying things like that. Like, 1 minute they're crying hysterically. And the next minute they're like, but they're going to be so tasty. They're going to be so yummy. Because that's what the disgusting industry is drilling into their brains. But just remember how good it is. If you want that delicious bacon, if you want those delicious lamb chops, you have to, do that. And at least you gave them a good life. No, there is such a thing as a plant-based diet, and plant-based foods are just as delicious. Actually, I think they're more delicious than animal body parts and animal secretions. It's interesting that, these people are like, oh, you vegans, stop pushing your food preferences on us. Stop pushing your beliefs on us. But you're not even letting these children choose whether or not they really want to do this. It's almost like these children are like just forced into, they actually feel like they're forced to send these animals to slaughter. Oh, we have to do it. We have to do it. We go in there knowing that, that's what's going to end up happening. We're going to send them to a slaughterhouse. But most of these children don't want to. They develop relationships. They develop bonds with these animals. And then, I wouldn't even fucking send a cockroach that I didn't even know to a slaughterhouse. Like if I saw a cockroach right now crawling across my floor, I would never even think to send that poor little thing to a cockroach or to a slaughterhouse. I would just put it in a little empty spice jar and put it outside. But yeah, these children are forming these bonds with these animals and then sending them to a slaughterhouse, and they're so psychologically messed up in the head because of this industry, making them think that this is just what you have to do, and this is normal, and this is what we've been doing for centuries, and all this other nonsense. And so one minute they're literally in tears crying because that's their heart, that's what they really feel inside. But then because they've been psychologically manipulated, the next minute they're literally laughing at the fact that they're sending these animals to slaughter and that, oh, they taste so delicious. They get over it. No, I don't think so. I think it causes a lot of trauma, and yeah, there's no doubt that these children, no, because I've come across comments from people literally saying, like, years ago they sent their lamb to a slaughterhouse and still cry to this day when they think about what they did to that lamb. And nobody tells them that it's wrong. So, it might just, kind of just, once it's done and over with, they might just let it pass and not think about it. But see, I'm going to, duet these videos and point out that that's not nice to do. That you shouldn't be sending those animals. As a matter of fact, I've already done a few TikToks asking those children, like one that says in a couple weeks she's going to be sending her pig to a slaughterhouse, and I just did a TikTok saying, please send him to a sanctuary. Please don't send him to a slaughterhouse. Send him to a sanctuary. And call your news station. And I'm sure they'll do a story on it. And it would probably go viral if you did a TikTok on the story of you sending your pig to a sanctuary instead of a slaughterhouse. No, I'm not going to stop talking. I'm not going to stop talking. Well, nobody should be domesticating carnivores, for one thing. But yeah, for cats and dogs, there's already plant-based food, vegan cat food and vegan dog food on the market that's been actually on the market for decades. One of the oldest living dogs was actually fed a plant-based diet of veggies, lentils, and rice. That dog lived to be 25 years old. On a vegan diet, lived to be 25 years old. And he actually held the world's record for the oldest living dog for a period of time. He no longer holds the record, but he held the record for a period of time on a vegan diet. He lived to be 25 years old. That's amazing. That's not animal abuse. Like, oh, these people feed their dog vegan dog food. That's animal abuse. How is it animal abuse when the vegan dog food and the vegan cat food even has all the necessary nutrients that they need? It's supplemented just the same way the regular cat food and the regular dog food is supplemented. Just look, if you have a cat or a dog, look at the dog food, the cat food, whether it's dry or canned. Just look at the ingredients. It's filled with supplements. Those are the same supplements that are in the vegan pet food, like taurine, that necessary nutrients that the cats need or they will go blind. Yeah, it naturally only comes from animal flesh, but the supplement taurine is synthetic and it is vegan. And it's they put it in regular cat food. I mean, just look, they actually put synthetic taurine in your regular cat food. Because yeah, surprise, surprise, just like humans can be deficient in nutrients, so too can non-human animals. So yeah, those animals that are being raised for their flesh and secretions that literally are just being fed GMO corn and GMO soy, yeah, they're not getting all the necessary nutrients they need from, eating that factory farmed livestock feed. So they're supplemented, and B12 is, I mean, most of the B12 produced is actually given to livestock. But yeah, taurine, the supplement is synthetic, and they're actually putting it in the regular cat food. It's the same supplement they're putting in the vegan cat food. There are thousands of cats on a vegan diet. You cannot make a cat a vegan, but you can certainly feed them vegan cat food. And there's no problem. I mean, most cats are very, very healthy. There are some cats that are susceptible to getting like urinary blockages, like male cats, especially. Some of them do have issues with that. So, there might be a case where maybe, you can't get their pH level where it needs to be. But for the most part, most cats can do very well on a vegan diet. Just got to make sure that it's supplemented with all the necessary nutrients that they need. And just keep an eye, whether your cat is being fed a vegan diet or a regular diet, just keep an eye on their litter box habit and make sure that they're going to the bathroom regularly every day. Because even for a cat that's being fed a regular diet, they can get a blockage, and that can become fatal very, very quickly. But yeah, just look into it. There's even been studies done on it. Cats and dogs being fed vegan cat food and vegan dog food, and they're all doing just as good as any other cat or dog. Yeah, learn about how everything's going to collapse if the world does not go vegan. Because animal agriculture is literally causing the 6th mass extinction. It takes a hell of a lot more crops to be produced to feed all of these animals. So now let me bring this up again. Not that. Oh my God, not that. What the hell? Okay, so let me go back to my green screen and trying to bring up. Okay, so this right here is the number of animals that are killed every single minute of every single day around the globe. Yeah, so maybe this will give you a better understanding of how much food has to be produced to feed these animals, to kill them at this rate per minute. Right now, there are about 20 billion chickens being raised for their flesh. 20 billion chickens right now, so that they can be slaughtered at around 90,000 chickens per minute. I think it's like 3 billion pigs right now being raised for their flesh. Because, yeah, it takes 6 months to raise a pig for slaughter. So, yeah, right now there are about 3 billion pigs being raised for their flesh to slaughter them at this rate per minute. 2,300 pigs per minute. Even cattle, and this includes the dairy cows and the male calves born to those dairy cows. Almost 600 per minute slaughtered. So it's taking a lot of resources, a lot of land resources, a lot of water resources. These animals produce a lot of excrement. Animal agriculture is the leading cause of deforestation, species extinction, water pollution, water depletion, ocean dead zones, ocean plastics, fisheries depletion, pandemics, world hunger, and climate change. And I'm not even exaggerating. Chicken is healthy for you. Not really. The more meat, dairy, and egg products you consume, the more risk you have of heart disease, cancer, diabetes, kidney disease. Maybe, I think there was studies showing like under 10%, like if you're getting under 10% of your protein from animal products, it's probably not going to affect your health in any, kind of significant way if you're just eating minimal amount of animal products. But again, a whole foods plant-based diet is the best diet for human health. It can significantly reduce your risk of heart disease and cancer and diabetes and kidney disease and causing swine flu. Why would you want to harm an animal when there's no need to? It doesn't make sense. Like, Literally, we're talking 90,000 chickens slaughtered every single minute of every single day. And these animals are all baby animals. Chickens are just 6 months or 6 weeks old. I'm sorry, 6 weeks old when they're slaughtered. Pigs are. And these chickens are raised to grow so large and so fast that a lot of them become crippled under their own weight. And they'll just let them lay there and die a slow death and then throw them in the trash. Or a worker will come through and wring their neck and throw them in the trash. Because it would eat into the profits of these farmers to hire a vet to come treat any of these sick birds, to come euthanize any of these sick or disabled birds. It would eat into their profits. So they either just let them lay there and die, or the worker will come through and break their neck and throw them in the trash. Standard practice. So yeah, see how this bird is just laying there? Legs spread out, crippled. Yeah, you're talking 20 billion chickens right now being raised for their flesh. So I'm sure, it's probably fair to say that there are thousands, maybe even millions of chickens in this same kind of condition that this bird is in, that they have grown so large that their bodies have become crippled under their own weight. Because this might look like an adult bird, but this bird's probably only like 5 or 6 weeks old. They are forced to grow so fast and so large, by the time they're just 6 weeks old, they're ready to be slaughtered. And these sheds that house these chickens by the thousands are not cleaned during that whole 6-week period that they're being raised. Not cleaned at all. Once they ship these birds to the slaughterhouse, then they will clean them out and put fresh litter down and bring the new flock of chickens in. So yeah, if you were to go into one of these sheds, you probably wouldn't even make it inside, because as soon as the door opened, or probably even before you got inside, even near the sheds, the ammonia would probably start to overtake you. Yeah, and these birds, they have eyes, they have lungs. Their eyes and their lungs are burning 24/7 for 6 weeks from the ammonia, from the waste. Because again, these sheds are not cleaned out for the whole time these birds are being raised. They're not cleaned until they are shipped to slaughter. And as you can see, this bird's crippled, can't even get up off the ground. So this bird is literally sitting, resting in excrement, ammonia. So this bird's eyes and lungs are not just burning. This bird's skin is burning from the ammonia. I'm sure if you picked this bird up and looked at this bird's belly, it would be all bald and red and irritated. The vegan diet is affordable. Tofu is very cheap. I get organic tofu for just a few dollars, and I can make all kinds of things with that. I get like a 3-pound bag of organic lentils for $7. A can of chickpeas at Whole Foods, organic, is like, it used to be $1.09, but now it's $1.39. And that's 3 servings. And what I do is I mash a can of garbanzo beans up. I mash it up with a potato masher, and then I add some veganese to that, and then I add some diced celery and diced bell pepper and diced onion, some kelp flakes to that, and some salt, some pepper, and I make sandwiches with it. Instead of using a can of tuna, I use a can of garbanzo beans and just mash it up and use that in place of canned tuna. And it's much healthier for you. Actually tastes better. No animal has to die for it. No, you're talking from a place of privilege. When you can literally have an innocent creature executed over your food preferences, wow, are you in a place of privilege? At least I'm using my privilege for good. Like, I'm not choosing to harm animals. I'm literally choosing to not harm animals and choosing to encourage other people to not harm animals. And in the process, we could actually help save the planet, help fight world hunger. 1 billion people right now starving because food they could be eating is being used to feed livestock. So privileged people can eat meat and dairy products. Well, again, like I said, if you're going to sit here and joke about eating animals, you know, at the very least, what I would do, at the very least, I know, is make you work in a slaughterhouse killing those animals yourself. So if you want to eat a bacon burger, yeah, I would make you kill the cow yourself, grind them up, kill the pig yourself. Oh, and let's just go back to the very first step. I would make you collect the semen from a bull, collect the semen from a male pig. Oh, and collect the semen from a rooster, because I'm sure the bun probably contains eggs. Oh, and I'm sure the bun probably also contains milk. So yeah, so to start it off, okay, the very least I would make you do, you know, if I could. Well, I mean, I'd just make you go vegan if I could. Make it simple, make it. But yeah, you think it's okay to eat a bacon burger? Well, you should have to make that bacon burger yourself from the very start. Collect the semen from the bull, collect the semen from the pig, collect the semen from the rooster. Yeah, you got to masturbate them to make them ejaculate to collect their semen. So I make you do that first. Then I make you shove that semen into those female animals. The dairy cow to get her pregnant for the milk to use to make the bun. The cow for beef to make the, cattle that's going to be slaughtered for the burger, for the meat of the burger. And to shove the semen into the sow to impregnate her to make your bacon. And then, you got to shove the semen into the hen to fertilize her eggs so that you can have the eggs to make the bun for the burger. Yeah, so I'd make you do all that first, and then I would make you put the little male chick at, that hatches at that egg hatchery, where all the egg-laying hens come from. Make you sort all the male chicks and put them through a macerator and grind them up alive. I would make you steal all those little calves off those dairy cows and slaughter all the male calves. And I'd make you slaughter the pig for your bacon, slaughter the cow for your burger. Yeah, just one meal. You're talking about one burger, a bacon burger, and all of that harm you're causing. Animals literally sexually assaulted, multiple animals sexually assaulted, babies mutilated, forced screaming into slaughterhouses, heads hacked off. Just for one, and that thing literally increases your risk of heart disease and cancer in the process of eating it. And then, the planet's being destroyed because animal agriculture is the leading cause of deforestation, species extinction, water pollution, water depletion, ocean dead zones, ocean plastics, pandemics, world hunger, and climate change. Yeah, I do know what I'm talking about. Let me go back to this part. This person was just commenting how he wants a bacon burger. And I'm saying, hey, the very least, if you want a bacon burger, you should have to make that bacon burger from the start. So a cow has to be slaughtered. A pig has to be slaughtered for the bacon. And then I'm sure the bun has eggs and milk in it. So male chick ground up alive, male calf stolen from their mother and slaughtered. in the dairy industry for the milk to make the bun. And again, yeah, first place. They call it artificial insemination, but yeah, for that artificial insemination process to take place, they have to have semen, and they masturbate male animals to get that semen. So yeah, this would be actually the very first step in producing the bacon for your bacon burger. Masturbate a pig, and then masturbate a bull. And then again, for the egg and the milk for that bun for the burger, masturbate a rooster, masturbate another bull. To get all the semen, to force the semen into the female animals to make the baby pigs for the bacon, to make the baby cow for the burger, the actual meat. And I can go on and on and on and on. But yeah, just one burger, and that's how much harm you're causing. And that burger's not even healthy. And you could actually just eat a vegan bacon burger. Yeah, there's actually vegan bacon burgers that come with a bun that's vegan, that comes with bacon that's actually made from plants. A burger made with plants. And nobody has to be sexually assaulted. Nobody has to have their head hacked off. What are you talking about? Eat the plastic. Eat the plastics. Yeah, that's what you're doing when you eat animal products, because, you know, seafood, the average seafood consumer ingests 11,000 plastic particles per year. And yeah, some of those animals, some of those factory farmed animals are eating plastics. So yeah, you're eating plastics when you eat meat, when you eat seafood. And what are you ha-haing about? There's nothing funny about what is happening to these animals. Plants are alive as well. Well, that's an argument for veganism, because a lot more plants have to be killed to fatten up livestock. A lot more plants have to be killed to fatten up livestock than need to be killed for direct human consumption. And then animal agriculture is the leading cause of deforestation. So yeah, if you truly care about plants, you have to go vegan. And not only should you go vegan, you should become a fruitarian, because no plants are harmed for fruits, nuts, or seeds. Guess what? You don't have to kill animals for crop production. And I don't consume GMO soy. I eat organic soy. So yeah, the Monsanto shit I steer clear of. But yeah, it's not a requirement to kill animals for crop production. There are non-lethal methods of pest control. But see, you're not vegan. So yeah, it's not surprising that you're not aware of the fact that there are non-lethal methods of pest control. But I am, because I'm vegan, so I don't want to see any animals killed. I do not even want to see insects killed. So yeah, I get products from companies who use ingredients that are from veganic farms, like 1 Degree. 1 Degree is a brand that sources all of its ingredients from veganic farmers. The local organic farm where I get a lot of my produce from, they use pepper spray as a non-lethal method of pest control. And then if you're talking about animals that get caught up in the combines and stuff, well, guess what? Animals have ears and legs and a will to live, and they're free to run. Those animals in the fields, you know, they are free to run when they hear those combines and other, you know, equipment out there in the fields. And that's what they typically do. They run. You know, those animals inside of the slaughterhouses, they can't run. They're forced to die. And yeah, there's a huge difference between intentionally killing someone and unintentionally killing someone. And the difference is murder. Like if you accidentally kill somebody, like you're driving your car, and as long as you're not drinking and driving, as long as you're not going 80 miles down a residential road, if a kid runs out after a ball and you don't see them in time and you hit and kill them, you're not going to be charged with murder. Okay? But yeah, if you intentionally hit somebody with your car, you're going to be charged with murder. So, the logic of all of these vegan haters that are like, you vegans killed, look at all the animals killed in crop production. Well, a hell of a lot more animals are being killed in crop production to produce the crops needed to feed the animals whose flesh and secretions you eat. But yeah, there's a huge difference between accidentally killing someone and intentionally killing someone, and the difference is murder. So the vegan haters' logic is like, oh, you accidentally hit a kid? Oh, well, now guess what? I get to plow my car through a crowded playground and intentionally kill every kid I can kill because, yeah, you accidentally killed a kid. That's their logic. Like, oh, because, vegans, might harm an animal accidentally in crop production. That gives me the right to do all these awful things intentionally to other animals. All day, every day, for every single non-vegan product they consume. And again, a plant-based diet is the best diet for human health. And from the American Institute for Cancer Research, the National Kidney Foundation, the American Heart Association, a plant-based diet can help reduce your risk of all of those very common and very deadly diseases, and can even help treat them if you have them. From the American Institute for Cancer Research, a plant-based diet not only helps reduce your risk of cancer. If you have cancer, a plant-based diet can help fight it. From the National Kidney Foundation, not only can a plant-based diet help reduce your risk of getting kidney disease, if you have kidney disease, a plant-based diet can help slow the progression. From the American Heart Association, the more meat you eat, the more risk you have of heart disease, cancer, type 2 diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. Indigenous people need meat to survive. No, there are actually indigenous people who are vegan. There are, just look into it. And your culture, that's not a justification for victimizing anybody. I don't care what your culture is. I can respect your culture as long as you're not victimizing anyone. But once you start victimizing someone, then it's like, I don't care about your culture. That's not right. I mean, there are cultures where, 50-year-old men are marrying 12-year-old girls because, it's their culture and they've been doing it for hundreds of years. I don't fucking respect that because they're literally victimizing those children. They're victimizing those children. So I don't give a fuck that it's their culture for 50-year-old men to marry 12-year-old girls. That is sick. It should be illegal. I don't care that it's a cultural thing. I don't care that hunting is a cultural thing. Okay? So I don't care about your culture when you're talking about intentionally killing somebody just because, it's just my culture. It's just what we do. It's just, the type of food we eat and, So you have to respect me because, that's my culture. Yeah, well, I grew up in a culture where, I was served dead animal parts all day, every day. Thanksgiving, there was always a dead turkey at that center of the table because, it was a cultural thing. I don't give a fuck about culture. I don't give a fuck about my own culture. Oh, it's Thanksgiving and we've been doing this. This has been a tradition for decades and decades, and it goes back to our great. I don't give a fuck. Okay, I have my own brain. And I'm saying, no, that's not right. That if we don't have to kill an animal, if we could actually even be better for it health-wise by eating something plant-based, no, it's not going to happen anymore. No more turkey for Thanksgiving for me. No more eggs for breakfast in the morning. No more bacon in the morning for breakfast for me, because no, I now see that those things were coming from animal cruelty, and I don't want to be a part of it. I don't care that that's what my ancestors did. That's what they ate. I don't give a shit. I give a shit about being kind, and you're not being kind. You're not being kind when you're paying people to hack the heads off of animals. You're not being kind when you go out into the woods and you gun down a deer just because you can. Just because you like eating deer meat. Now report yourself for animal abuse, because like I said, if you pay the hitman, you are the murderer. And yeah, I'm going to sign off because my battery's about to die and I got to get up for work tomorrow. But yeah, before I sign off, I just want to remind you, or if you're just tuning in, you might have not have known this yesterday, but you're going to learn it right now. Step 1 in producing all animal products. Standard practice. So yeah, I should absolutely be able to raise awareness. Just stating facts. I'm just talking about the standard practice of the animal agriculture industry. They call this artificial insemination, but it's not. For that artificial insemination process to take place, they have to have semen, and how they get that semen is they literally masturbate male animals and force them to ejaculate. Like here, this is an instructional video put out by the pork industry demonstrating how they collect semen from a male pig. And this is a human, that is an animal. She's literally masturbating him to sexually stimulate him, to force him to ejaculate so she can collect his semen, so she can force that semen into the vaginas of unconsenting female pigs to force them to reproduce, so she can mutilate their babies, cut their tails off, clip their teeth, clip their ears, castrate the males, all without any anesthesia or painkillers, force them to live in an overcrowded, shit-filled shed for 6 months in such filth. Therefore, they have to be given antibiotics. Yeah, maybe you didn't know this yesterday, but you know it now. I'm proving to you right now that they're literally sexually assaulting animals to make those animal products on store shelves. They masturbate male animals to get their semen, to force it into the female animals, to force them to reproduce. This is absolutely bestiality. Does not matter whether or not the farmer is getting any kind of sexual gratification or not. The fact that this farmer or farm hand is literally, giving sexual gratification to an animal, that is sexual relations between a human and an animal, which is bestiality. And if you're a Christian, you should look up what your Bible says about bestiality. It is a major sin. Look up what the punishment should be. It's what you're supporting. And they're forcing that semen into the female vaginas. If you were to force semen into a woman's vagina without her consent, I seriously doubt you would call that artificial insemination. That would be a crime of rape. It should be the same crime when committed against non-human animals. Especially for the fact of, hacking their babies to pieces so people can feast on their flesh. And they're not just doing this in the pork industry. This is also happening in the poultry industry to roosters and to male turkeys. It's also happening in the dairy industry and the beef industry to bulls. It's even happening in the salmon industry to male salmon. It's even happening in the honey industry to male bees. Yeah, they figured out, like, you squeeze on their abdomen and that forces them to ejaculate. And then they die. And then with the queen bee, what they do with the queen bee is they restrain her, and then they force the semen of like 20 male bees into her to force her to reproduce. So her offspring can be exploited. And in case you don't know, it takes a bee their entire life to make just 1 teaspoon of honey. That's thievery. To steal that from them, that is thievery. So yeah, so going forward, if you don't go vegan, you are now a knowing participant in bestiality and the sexual assault of animals. So I don't think you want to be a part of bestiality, do you? I don't think you want to be a part of the sexual violation of animals. Yeah, you don't want to, right? So go vegan. Go vegan right now. You have to, because like I said, if you don't go vegan right now, you're now a knowing and willing participant in bestiality and the sexual violation of animals. So yeah, you can start off right now by putting 2 words in the search box. Vegan recipes. If you put just 2 words in that search box, vegan recipes, right here on TikTok, you'll come across endless vegan recipes. Scroll through some of them. Something looks good. Click on it. Follow the person who posted it. And you'll see how easy it is to be vegan, how delicious vegan food is. Go to happycow.net. Put in your city. You will find vegan and vegan-friendly restaurants wherever you live. Also, you can go to challenge22.com and you can get free resources there and free guidance on going vegan. You can also go to PETA.org and get more information. But yeah, don't take my word for anything that I've said here tonight. Look into this on your own further, and you'll see it's so much worse than I could even explain to you right now. You know, especially if you start doing these searches of the artificial insemination process. Just do a Google search for artificial insemination of cows, pigs, chickens, fish, bees, and see the instructional videos that this disgusting industry puts out regarding how they collect the semen, how they force the semen into the female animals to force them to reproduce. Oh my God, I am so glad I'm vegan. My only regret about going vegan is that I did not go vegan a hell of a lot sooner. Now report yourself. You know, it's not my fault you don't want to face reality. People need to know the truth so that they can make informed choices. Because, yeah, I would have been vegan my entire life had somebody told me the truth. The whole truth about this disgusting industry. I didn't even know at first, when I first went vegan, I didn't even know about this until after going vegan. Yeah, I used to think, like, when vegans were saying, oh, animals are being raped, I'd be like, what the hell are they talking about? And then I'm like, oh, they are. Yeah, that's pretty disturbing that you think it's okay to do this to an animal. And that you think it's okay to force semen into someone's vagina without their consent. And that it's okay to steal their babies and hack them to pieces so you can feast on their flesh. Yeah, if the same things being done to these animals to produce animal products were being done to humans, they would in fact be crimes of rape, kidnapping, theft, and murder, and I'm not even exaggerating. How would a cow give consent exactly? Okay, well, even if this animal did give consent, this is still bestiality. But it's pretty disturbing that you think because an animal can't give consent that it's okay to sexually violate them. I mean, there are humans that cannot give